Okay, I'm back again. We are doing the last section of the Interlopers. Okay, I am not going to go over the standards again. We're just going to kind of just go through them. We're talking about vocabulary and context. What is its meaning? We're talking about can we identify the themes or the central ideas? Um, we're talking about how does an author use the text structure to create mystery, tension within a story. Okay, so last portion, I'm on page 37. I'm going to start reading it, give you a recap. So they're in the woods. They confront one another. They see each other on this steep piece of land that's really worthless. It really is. And they get the storm blows down a tree on them. They're both laying there injured underneath this, or lying there injured underneath this tree. And all of a sudden, Ulrich has this attack of conscience. And he says, why do I hate this guy? I have no reason to hate him. This ridiculous piece of land, what's going on here? And so he says, be my neighbor. Take my hand of friendship. Let's put this conflict behind us, okay? So he asked George that, and George responds. This is the top of page 37. George Zion was silent for so long that Ulrich thought perhaps he had fainted with the pain of his injuries. Then he spoke slowly and in jerks. How the whole region would stare and gabble if we rode into the market square together. No one living can remember seeing a Zion and a von Gratwitz talking to one another in friendship. And what peace there would be among the forester folk if we ended our feud tonight. And if we chose to make peace among our people, there is none other to interfere. No interlopers from outside. I hope you remember what that word interloper means. You would come and keep the Sylvester night, which means a feast day in those days, beneath my roof. And I would come and feast on some high day at your castle. I would never fire a shot on your land, save when you invited me as a guest. And you should come and shoot with me down in the marshes where the wild fowl are. In all the countryside there are none that could hinder if we willed it to make peace. I never thought to have wanted to do other than hate you all my life, but I think I have changed my mind about things too. This in the last half hour, and you offered me your wine flask, Ulrich von Gratwitz. I will be your friend. So, oh my goodness, things have changed. We have went from, I'm going to shoot you down, we're going to cap somebody in here, to, no, we're going to be friends now. So, I have a question for you. That very first sentence, I want you to think about the time frame that this story, or the time period that this story is referencing to. There's a hint in those first couple of lines. How the whole region would stare and gabble if we rode into the market square together. What time period do you think this is? Are we riding on horses? Are we riding on cars? What are we riding in? What time period? Think about that. I'm going to ask that question as part of this, and I'm going to expect an answer, okay? Let's keep reading. It says, for a space, both men were silent, turning over in their minds the wonderful changes that this dramatic reconciliation would bring about. In the cold, gloomy forest, with the wind tearing it in fitful gusts through the naked branches and whistling round the tree trunks, they lay and waited for the help that would now bring release and succor. That's an underlined word. It means help given to someone in distress. So they're waiting for help to both parties. And each prayed a private prayer that his men might be the first to arrive. Hold on just a second. So that he might be the first to show honorable mention. Oh, okay. I thought you were just had some stuff, still building up there. That he might be the first to show honorable attention to the enemy that had become a friend. Presently, as the wind dropped for a moment, Ulrich broke the silence. "Let's shout for help," he said. "In this lull, our voices may carry a little way." "They won't carry far through the trees and undergrowth," said George, "but we can try. Together, then." And the two raised their voices in a prolonged hunting call. Together again with Ulrich a few minutes later, after listening in vain for no answering "Halloo!" "I heard something that time, I think," said Ulrich. "I heard nothing but the pestial wind." It means, down at the bottom it says, "It's deadly, it's causing disease, it's harming them," said George hoarsely. There was silence again for minutes, and then Ulrich gave a joyful cry. I can see figures coming through the woods. They're following in the way that I came down the hillside." Both men raised their voices in a loud a shout as they could muster. "They hear us! They've stopped! Now they see us! They're running down the hill toward us!" cried Ulrich. "How many of them are there?" asked George. "I can't see distinctly," said Ulrich. "9 or 10. Then they're yours. I only had 7 out with me," said George. "They are making all the speed they can, brave lads," said Ulrich gladly. "Are they your men?" said George. "Are they your men?" he repeated impatiently, as Ulrich did not answer. "No," said Ulrich, with a laugh, the idiotic laugh, chattering laugh of a man unstrung with hideous fear. "Who are they?" asked George quickly, straining his eyes to see what the others would gladly have not seen. "Wolves." Wow. What an ending! That was awesome! That was awesome! Wolves. So we're yelling, we're screaming, we think it's our men, and it's only bringing down the wolves on us. And we're caught underneath this tree. So what do you think is going to happen? Exactly. I will put up a question about clues for time period on this one. There is an identify question. What is the private prayer each man prays? What are they really saying to themselves? Okay. What's the hints that tells us what those prayers are? Interpret. Notice the repetition of the words together in line 161 and 163. Again, we're looking over here and we're looking at the numbers, and then we're counting down in line 161. What does the repetition suggest about the resolution of the conflict? We need to know what resolution is. Okay? When you resolve something, you have ended it. A resolution of a conflict is an ending. Problem solved. It's over. So what does that repetition tell us or suggest about the conflict? Is it over? Is it really over? Okay? And then lastly, on page 38, interpret how might the story's surprise ending be related to Saki's theme or underlining message in this tale. So first we need to know what the theme is. What is the theme of this story? What's his message to people? Okay? We may have a short discussion about that in our next video. And how does that surprise ending lead into that theme or build that theme? Okay? So that is it as far as third part of the Interlopers. Okay? Have fun with it. Bye, guys.